My mom acts like my brother is my son. April 8th, 2024. I am 18F. I feel bad saying this, but my mom, 34F, often makes me feel like I'm the mother to her 7-year-old son, my brother. I am expected to make him breakfast every day. There isn't a day where she doesn't expect me to feed him. I even cook dinner and lunch. I have to help him with homework, reading, and chores. I want to enjoy life as a young adult, but I can't even do that. Every time I want to go out, she constantly reminds me I have a brother to look after like he's my son. It's hard because when she isn't home, he doesn't listen to me. He sees me like a maid because that's what he sees from his mom. His mom never corrects his behavior. And yesterday when my brother hit me and I lectured him about it, she laughed with him about the situation. I'm so tired and want to get out this house, but part of me feels bad leaving. I feel like I'm leaving a lot for my mom to take care of. Am I in the wrong for wanting to leave, or am I just being too dramatic? I can't even tell if this behavior is normal because it's been this way since I was 10. I can't even get job BTW. She won't allow me, calls me dramatic and selfish for even wanting one. She's admitted that she doesn't want me growing up or getting more freedom. She also won't allow me to drive. I can't do much because I live in a small town where the farthest stores are 30 mins away, so I kinda need a car to get a job. I also was going to see family since my grandma paid for the ticket, and my mom basically told me I couldn't go because I'm expected at home to care for my brother over the summer, so I can't even work this summer if I wanted to. Relevant comments. Commenter, leave. Let mom deal with the life she chose. If she tries to say you have a brother to look after, say, no, you have a son to look after. Then walk out. Commenter, OP, you are being parentified. That's toxic. If your mom needs help raising him, she can ask his father or his grandparents or hire a babysitter. OP. Unfortunately, we live 2 hours away from them. Commenter, then you ask dad to get you and live with him if possible and explain why. OP, my dad got deported. We have different fathers. Commenter, I had the same issue with my mom and younger siblings. I was basically a parent to them both from age 9, and it didn't stop till I left. I tried bringing it up. I tried saying it was unfair. I even had an older sibling who did nothing around the house. No chores or anything. It was all my responsibility. I just get told life is unfair, or her parents were stricter with her, and this was just part of being a family. It's not. It's bad parenting and lazy parenting from your mom, and it won't stop, because you're making her day-to-day life easier by picking up the slack and doing things she doesn't want to do or knows you'll do. It's totally unfair on you. At 18, you should be exploring the world, hanging out with your friends, enjoying those last teenage years while embracing the adult world before you have real consequences to deal with. My best advice is to leave. I don't know if you have other family you could stay with. Maybe start looking for a job if you don't already have one. Getting away is really your only way out of this. OP, I'm so sorry. Thank you for sharing that. That's kind of how it is in my household. Basically do all my mom's chores as well. I really want to do more, but every time I ask, she tells me I'm selfish for going. Commenter, you really don't need to ask. You are a legal adult. If you can move away with a family member and get a job, do that. Don't let her guilt you. It's one thing to help out your family sometimes. It's a whole other thing when they make their kid your responsibility. It's not. Commenter, you are not wrong, but this is not going to change until you move out of that house and take yourself completely out from under your mother's control. Unfortunately, your brother is too young for you to simply leave when you feel like it and put him at risk if your mother is not at home. Is there anyone else you can stay with to escape from this servitude? OP, my aunt has been asking me to come with her and she would pay for college. She knows how my mom is. I just feel guilty leaving her behind, especially since I help with my brother. Commenter, go with your aunt. Please don't feel guilty. You have been indoctrinated to believe that you have to help. You don't. Clearly your aunt can see what's happening and wants to help. Your mom chose to have a child, you did not. You are not wrong. Your brother, no matter how much you love him and want to help, is not your responsibility. OP, I'll ask her tomorrow. I just haven't asked since she recently had a baby. Last time she called me, she reassured that her having a baby didn't mean she would stop caring, so hopefully she does let me. I just feel horrible leaving my mom. I feel like my duty is only at home. Update April 10th. 2024, 2 days later. So a bunch of people told me the type of abuse that was parentification, which now does make sense. To people who said to get a job, I can't. I can't drive. My mother would take my phone. I can't explain how bad it can be when she's upset, but it's bad, and I rather follow what she says till I leave. So today I texted my aunt, who has in the past wanted me to go with her. We talked, and she said of course she would take me in. Agreed to help me follow a degree in criminal justice, learn to drive, and get a job. She agreed that what my mom was doing was wrong. I graduate next month on the 17th, and we both agreed my aunt would come for me May 25th, which is the day I'm leaving. I have no plan on telling my mom. I will pack my stuff silently and leave quietly. I'm trying to find my passport, but my mom has hidden it from me. Hopefully I do find it. Thank you to everyone's support. Hopefully the plan goes through and I do end up leaving. Relevant comments. Commenter, get your birth certificate and social security card too. OOP, I'll make sure to grab them the day before in case she notices them missing. Commenter, take photos of them though in case she decides to hide them. Commenter, after you leave, she will try to guilt trip you into believing that terrible horrible things are now happening because you aren't there to help. There's a very real chance that she will claim a major medical emergency for either herself or your brother. Do not fall for it. These are some textbook emotional manipulation tactics that people like her use to regain control. She's a grown-up who chose to have kids. She doesn't need her 17-year daughter taking care of everything for her. She's capable of doing it herself, but just wants to make you do it for her. OP. I'm planning on cutting her off. I think it's for the better. I easily fall to her manipulation, and sometimes it's hard to do what's better for me. Commenter. I get that. It's hard to break free after living under that for years. Some time spent no contact would probably be the best way to focus on your own well-being. She'll probably try everything she can think of to find you and force you to talk with her. Speak to your aunt about how the two of you can prepare to deal with that in case she tries to get to you through your aunt. And speak to your college admin to make sure they know the situation and can put safeguards in place to prevent your mom from contacting the school to sabotage your academics. OOP. Alright, thank you. Hopefully she doesn't, but I could never know. Hopefully everything goes well, and in a few years maybe I can reconnect with my mom again. Commenter. Freeze your credit. This is one way she can try to mess up your life. Run a credit report as soon as you leave to make sure she hasn't used your SSN for anything, then freeze it. If she has used it, report it as fraud. You can unfreeze it when you need to. Get an IRS ID pin for filing taxes so she can't claim you as a dependent next year. OOP. I am aware that she's been using my credit score. I found a couple months ago. I'm not sure how bad it is yet. Commenter. Go to Credit Karma. There's an app. They offer free credit monitoring. It's free itself. There are a lot of tools on there that can be beneficial to you. Good luck. Update me. Second update May 3rd, 2024, a month later. So I am officially leaving in 20 days, but these past days have been hell for me. I know the time is coming, but I can't wait for it to be here already. It's like my mom's getting more controlling as time goes by. My aunt and I have already found a job and called. We agreed that I would sneak my paperwork and leave. I'm having a hard time leaving my younger sister behind since my mom is also hard on her too. My mom has been threatening to take away my phone at 18 and expects me to come straight from school to clean and work around the house to the point where she yells if it's not done. I have no time to do homework and I'm failing a class. Everything else I have A's and B's. Even if I try doing homework, she accuses me of only being on the phone. Yesterday, she accused my sister and I of being in a secret relationship, which she has before. It's honestly so gross and disgusting. I just want to get out. The other day I wore shorts and she told me I would get R-worded. The shorts weren't even that short and it's summer. I'm constantly controlled and I can't wear makeup, dress the way I want, work, drive, or do anything. This is so tiring and I'm tired of my life, and she makes me feel like absolute trash. I feel so bad leaving my sister behind. She's 16. I feel so much guilt leaving her behind. I can't stop crying because I know I'm leaving, and I know she's going to get grounded once I leave. Relevant comments. Commenter. Make sure you and your sister find a way to keep in contact. Make a plan for her to get out as well. What age is legal where you live? Could she go with you? I hate to say this because it's clear you love your sister, but don't even tell her you're leaving. Your mother may force it out of her. Contact Child Protective Services, CPS, or the equivalent where you live and let them know what your mother is doing. She's sadly going to do the same she did to you to your sister once you leave. Good luck keeping a countdown for you. Make sure you have everything important to take with you, and if you have to sneak out a couple days ahead and stay with a friend, if you can, so she can't try to stop you. Getting away from an abusive relationship, regardless of who the relationship is with, is a very dangerous time. Stay safe, OP. Commenter. You're not wrong, and I'm glad you're escaping the hell that you've been forced to live in. I have a suggestion that might help your sister. I agree with everyone saying she needs a way to contact you, but if your mother grounds her and doesn't allow her access to any communication devices, she could literally be dying in that house and you wouldn't know. If she's in serious danger and needs you to call 911 or whatever exists where you live to enter the house, by force if necessary to do a welfare check if it comes to that, she needs to be able to communicate that to you without any phone or other communication device your mother can take from her. So devise a way to communicate with her now, so she has the info before you're no longer there to give it to her. If you can't risk telling her you're leaving before you do, when you leave her a message in a place that only she would find telling her how to communicate with you. You could tell her to use any window facing the street, or any window you can view from a safe distance. You can either devise a short numeric code 0, 9, with different hash S meaning different things, but is suspect that may be too much too quick. But minimum, she needs to know to put an X in any window she can access if she needs emergent help. She can write it on the glass, tape it to the glass, any way she can make a visible X in the window to let you know, call 911. Good luck. You're very brave. New update. Third update. July 20th, 2024. 3 months after OP. Hi, so it's been a while. I honestly have been so caught up in life that I forgot to update. I did make the hard choice and did leave. It was incredibly hard to leave my sister and brother behind, but in order to help them, I have to help myself. It's been a good month and a half now, and I have moved states with my aunt, found a job, starting college, and learning to drive. The amount of freedom feels so weird to me. I get to go out, have money, have a voice, and I'm not constantly watching over others. I still talk to my sister and my mom hasn't changed. changed. I don't know if I even still consider her my mother. Ever since I've talked to my aunt about my home life and learning to grow and get over trauma, and I'm going to start therapy soon to help with these. For people saying I should have called CPS, I have. CPS has been called 4 times. My mother was a foster mom to 2 kids, and both of them reported her to CPS. I reported her to CPS, and my own family has reported her, and nothing was ever done. My sister has told me ever since I left that my mom is telling people that I was a brat, dramatic, attention-seeking, and that she doesn't consider me her daughter anymore, which is fine because she never felt like a mother to me. I feel like my mom has damaged me. I have severe anxiety, can't look people in the eye, have a hard time with conversations, and an overall horrible self-image. I hope that going to therapy can fix these problems, and I can just continue to grow as an adult. Relevant comments. Commenter. Step 1 was getting out. Congratulations on that huge accomplishment. And it is huge, and you made it happen. Step 2. Through infinity is healing, growing up, living life. Don't rush things. Learn to live with the new normal, and then you'll be more and more prepared as the new normal changes and shifts as you grow and life happens. Thank your aunt because she deserves a ton of credit for what she's doing for you. Your responsibility is to yourself now. Hopefully you'll get yourself into a place where you can help your siblings, but don't let that be the biggest priority at the moment. Good luck. Wibta. If I bail on a party at my own house because I don't get along with one of the invited guests, July 31st, 2024. So way back when I first met my wife in high school, she had a friend that was not very nice to me. Let's call her Claire. Claire and her BF were pretty consistently hostile and negative towards me. Lots of negative comments and underhanded insults. The kind where if you complain, they tell you you're being too sensitive or I'm just being honest. I'm not going to go into all the things she did, but a key example would be inviting my girlfriend to girls' night out. But when my girlfriend gets there, she sees that not only did everyone else bring their BF, but MGF's ex was also invited for some reason. Claire and the ex were not friends. Schemes aimed at breaking us up were a common theme. For a while, I thought she was just scared of losing her friend. We were both pretty conflict avoidant and grew up in less than ideal families, so we just tolerated it. After high school, they still talked, but I didn't see Claire much. Fast forward a few years. My GF and I are married now, and so is Claire, to her HS boyfriend who is also hostile to me. I go with my wife to parties at their house. I'm only invited because they know my wife won't go if her husband isn't invited. The hostility towards me is less overt now, but it's pretty clear I'm not wanted there. Mostly just being dismissive or cutting me off when I try to join the conversation. That kind of stuff. We only see them a couple times a year, so I can handle it. Although I do occasionally point out the rude things that are done to me and ask my wife to stick up for me to her friends. She makes an effort, but she really doesn't like confrontation. I try to explain that friends should not treat their friends' spouses like this, and that I would never stay friends with someone that treated her so poorly. But she doesn't have many friends and feels like she can't afford to lose one of the few she has. For the record, my wife is an awesome person. She's pretty, smart, funny, but kind of shy, so it's hard for her to make friends. Things are like this for a few years. At some point, Claire and my wife get into a huge fight over Claire's treatment of me, and it comes out that Claire hates me, and yada yada basically expects my wife to choose between her and me. I'm happy to say she chose me. My wife cut all contact with Claire. About 3 years go by when Claire reaches out to my wife. She apologizes and said she realizes now that she was being really unfair to both of us, and she wants to make amends. It's years later, and I've made a lot of personal growth. I know about boundaries now, and that it's okay to say no to people. I realized how much these people contributed to self-esteem issues I am still dealing with. Just hearing their name after all this time made me uneasy. I told my wife that obviously she's free to reconnect with her friend if she likes, but I'm not interested in reconnecting with them. The hurt they caused me is not something that I'm able to forgive, and to be honest, there's really no upside for me. They weren't people I would choose to be friends with even if they were nice to me. I made it clear that I don't want anything to do with them, so for the past 2 years they've hung out every couple months. I don't ask about what they do, and my wife doesn't tell me. Honestly, thinking about these people dredges up all the horrible memories and gives me anxiety. I prefer not hearing about them at all. It does hurt a little bit that my wife forgave the people that were so horrible to me, but I know I don't have the right to tell her who she can be friends with, and if I told her how I felt, she would feel pressured to end the friendship. Okay, so now we arrive at today. My wife and I have been planning a party that was going to take place at our house. Nothing serious, just an excuse for friends to get together. A few days before the party, my wife says, "Oh, I just remembered I invited Claire and her husband." Apparently it was a Facebook invite, and she just clicked on all of her friends without thinking. She's never said it, but I'm sure she would like it if we could all be friends. I considered the possibility that this was a sneaky way to ease me back into interacting with them again, but she has never pressured me before, and that would be out of character. So Wibda, if I just bailed on the party, tell my wife I'm sorry, but I just can't be around these people. I would do all the cooking the day before and help with the setup so the party can go off as planned. She can make some kind of excuse like I had a work emergency. I can just go somewhere else until the party is over. I don't see too many other options. I can stay at the party and let these people that hurt me so much back into my life. I really don't like that option. Maybe confronting them would be therapeutic. I can ask my wife to uninvite them and she would, but I know it would hurt her, and it just feels really controlling. What should I do? I don't like the idea of being chased out of my own house, but it seems like the lowest conflict option. Relevant comments. Commenter. YWNB ta at all for not wanting to be there, but I would suggest not leaving and asking your wife to uninvited them. This is your house and they will probably get a power trip about how you aren't there. If your wife is against uninviting them, then bring up the compromise of you leaving. You have every right not to want to be around these people. I am very surprised and disappointed that your wife is still friends with this person. Your wife should be your best friend and life partner, and she shouldn't want to be with friends that treat you and make you feel so poorly. Honestly, would never talk to someone again if they were mean to my husband. Even if I didn't have a lot of friends, my husband always comes first. OP. That's a good point. Her goal was always to drive us apart. Leaving is letting her win, and I can always kick them out. OP. Updated the next day, August 1st. 2024. As many suggested, I talked to my wife about it. There was more to her side of it than I realized. Claire has kids that I'll admit are not like her. Playing with the kids was the only joy I got from visiting them. She isn't exactly thrilled about Claire either, but she really bonded with the kids and doesn't want to just never see them again. She has been in their life since they were born. Many of the visits are just babysitting while Claire is out anyway. Apparently they miss me and ask why I don't come around anymore. I didn't even know they remembered me. We never talked about it because I told her I don't want to hear anything about Claire. This doesn't really feel like a betrayal anymore. I should have guessed that it comes down to communication. Yeah, the invite was not really an accident. She was hoping for a soft intro that might lead to reconciliation, or at least a more workable situation, so she doesn't feel like she is sneaking away to visit the kids. She gets that doing it without asking was a crappy thing to do. We decided to leave the invitation open. Me shunning her is still letting her control me, and I would like to see the kids again. When I think about how much I have changed, I have to admit the possibility she has too. Even if she is still a cunt, she is on my turf. At the first sign of any toxic BS, she gets the boot. I have all the power now, and that feels good. In the end, my goal isn't revenge or retribution. I just want me and my wife to be happy. LOL the people jumping straight to recommending divorce. I think you have some unreasonable expectations of relationships. I could probably make a post about us disagreeing on what end of the toothpaste